Third running of the Boston Marathon, but it's also a solemn anniversary. As you know, 6 years ago, 3 people were killed in the bombing right at the finish line. More than 250 others were hurt. Betsy Hughes was there. She was actually in her hotel room as that chaos was unfolding. She's the owner of the Track Shack, and she's joining us live this morning to talk to us about that day. Great to have you. Thank you for being here. Now, you and your husband had actually just gotten back to your hotel room when this happened. Is that right?
Right. John had just finished, and we went back to the hotel room, which was really very close to the finish. We were up 35 stories, so we took the elevator up. John went right to the restroom, because that's what you do after a marathon, and all of a sudden I felt the building shake. And so I ran to the window, and I didn't know this was going to happen all these years later. And I saw white smoke coming up, and then the building shook again, and there was more white smoke, and I'm yelling back to John, you know, I think there's been like a gas leak or something. And then we saw a lot of people running. I mean, the road became like ants. We were so far up, you know, and you could just tell people were running away from the finish. So I called the hotel lobby. I said, what's going on? They said, we don't know. Check your Twitter. I didn't have Twitter. So I turned the TV on, and John had come to the window at that point, and shortly after we heard sirens, and all of a sudden, you know, the news knew.
Right,
the TV finally told us what was going on. And immediately we thought, oh my God, we got to call home. We got to tell people what's going on. And I had been at the finish line waiting for John right at the finish line, because we were fortunate to get nice seats there.
Yeah.
And I called immediately to the girl I'd been sitting with to make sure she was safe. And she answered her phone, and she was. But then we couldn't reach our children. And then the phones didn't work. And so for the next half an hour, I'm just texting everybody I knew at the store, at Track Shack.
Yeah.
And then one of the texts finally went through. And all I could do is say, we're okay. And so Natalie, who works with us, put it on Facebook. And the one thing our daughter will never forget is she didn't find out from us that we were safe. She had to read it on social media.
Wow.
But that whole night, it was crazy.
Well, I wanted to ask you first, why do you think after 6 years this brings up so much emotion?
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen. You know, when you think about this.
Yeah, yeah.
And today they're running in less than an hour, and you just, you know, you pray that'll never happen again. But it was awful. It was awful. Our hotel was on lockdown. The elevators didn't work. So after John cleaned up, we literally hoofed it down 35 flights of stairs and tried to find out more information.
Right.
And we realized then the hotel wasn't going to let us go outside. It was, there were guards everywhere.
At this point, they were still searching for the suspects,
yeah.
and you talked about seeing, you know, police officers everywhere, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, they really didn't stay in that area. The suspects had left the area, but no one knew at that point. But we were stuck in the hotel. Once the phones started working again, they literally rang all night long.
Oh, I can
Everybody
imagine.
from
I
home.
can imagine, sure.
Even all the newscasters from
Right.
home were calling John, and we didn't have any more information than anyone.
Have you been back since?
Oh, yes.
You have. How many times?
The first thing John said was, we're coming back next year. There's no way anyone's going to stop us from running. And he meant it. And he had requalified, so we did go back the next year. And it was a little scary to go back, but it was also, it was good to go back.
Has he been back since that last time, the
well,
first
he's
year?
there now. He's
he
not
is.
running this year, but he goes back quite often.
Okay.
His hope is to do 2020.
Oh, good.
He says that's his last Boston. We'll see.
Good for him.
But we have so many local folks running.
We do, a lot, and we're cheering them on today.
Oh, yeah. We're very excited.
Betsy, we're so grateful for you for being here this morning and telling
thanks.
your story. And good luck to all the runners out there today. I know you guys are going to be cheering them on, many of them wearing Track Shack shoes. So thank you for being here, Betsy. We appreciate you. All right, Bob, we're going to send it back to you.